That was Sounds of Blue by legendary British band Morcheeba. For a quarter of a century, the trip-hop pioneers have produced smooth and silky hits, blurring the borders between hip-hop, electro-pop, and soul. Their trademark chilled-out sound has brought them to every corner of the world, and they've just released their 10th studio album. It's called Blackest Blue, and I'm joined virtually by the lead singer, Skye Edwards. Thank you so much for being with us today. This new album of yours, Blackest Blue, is a 10-track gem. It's perhaps your most introspective and intimate record yet, and it's permeated with themes of loss, a retreat into the self. What inspired you when you were writing the tracks on this album?
Thank you, firstly, for having me, and for the wonderful introduction. But yeah, what influenced the record is just life, really. Our day-to-day life, family, friends, relationships, that kind of thing.
And on your website, it says that Blackest Blue is about finding a way through the darkest of times and emerging on the other side, changed but intact. And I felt like that was a description of what a lot of us have been experiencing through the various lockdowns. We're starting to emerge slowly but surely. Would you say this album is a soothing balm for listeners during these troubled times?
I hope so. I kind of described it before as it's a bit like the alternative medicine. It might not necessarily heal you, but it will certainly make you feel better.
Well, that's certainly what it made me feel. I was listening to it all over the last couple of days. It's definitely a soothing track and a list of tracks. Let's listen to another song off the album. It's called Oh, Oh, Yeah. That was the song Oh, Oh, Yeah off Morcheeba's latest album, Blackest Blue. Skye, what's incredible is you've managed to really recreate the trademark sound of Morcheeba on this album. And I was curious because it's such a delicate balance to try and stay true to your sound, but also not become kind of a cliche of yourself. You've always managed to keep it fresh. How do you keep it fresh after 25 years of experience?
I guess because we continually grow as people, as songwriters, but just in our own lives, we grow up, and I think I've got become a better singer as well, and lyrically, I always try to push myself.
Well, there's such a chilled out sound on your album, and that has been the case throughout your career. Is there a secret to being chilled out? We live in such a kind of hyper stressful world, and you can really find refuge in your music. What's the secret to being cool and chilled out?
Oh boy, I wish I knew. There's a few things that I try. Just most recently, I've been doing a lot of just cold water therapy, taking cold showers. I've been earthing, taking my shoes off and just sitting out in the garden barefoot. I also like to do breathing exercises, and that was influenced by my freediving experience in Thailand. Just breath holds, lots of breath holds.
Okay, I'll take note of that. I'll try that out. Now, you started Morcheeba at the beginning of the 90s with the brothers Ross and Paul Godfrey. You actually took a break from the band in 2002 to focus on your own personal projects. The band also briefly split at one point. Paul left the band in 2014. What's it like working with these changing configurations within Morcheeba?
Well, they were necessary at the time. It was painful When we broke up, and I went my on a different path. But it was necessary back then. It was 2003, and we weren't getting along so well. And but the configuration that we have now with Ross and I, it works very well. We get on tremendously. We're both on the same path. We're both very driven musically, and we enjoy touring as well.
Well, let's listen to another track off your album. It's called Killed Our Love. Take a listen.
Lord, such a lovely day. It had to end this way. Driving in silence, recall violence with a clear blue sky. I let it take hold around my throat till I choked. Time to say no.
Skye, you've had such a rich career over the decades working with Morcheeba, but you also released 4 solo albums. You also have 4 children who have come on tour with you throughout your career. And I read that back in the day that raised a lot of eyebrows. Some people told you that you shouldn't go on tour with your children. Do you find that things have changed over the years?
Well, certainly my children have grown. The way that things have changed is that my eldest son, who used to travel with us on tour, took his first steps backstage when we were in Germany. He's now our drummer. I mean, yeah, it's still the same in the way that I'm still traveling with the children. My youngest is 6. And I try to bring them with me whenever we can. We've been actually looking into, through lockdown, we've been doing homeschooling and, online. And so it's kind of opened up a new possibility of they can actually do their schooling and come with us.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the upcoming shows that you have planned with Morcheeba?
Yeah, we've got, our first one is going to be in London, at the pub in the park. It's like a sort of music and food type of festival. We've got a few dates in and around France, but we're just waiting to see whether they can happen. Obviously, with all of the COVID restrictions, so we're kind of at the mercy of all of the rules and just keeping it safe, really. So we still don't know. we hope to come, but there's also the whether we have to sort of go there and isolate or come home and isolate, which isn't practical when we're being in a band, when you have to get to the gig and you've got 10 people. We can't pay them. It's very costly to pay band and crew to isolate for 2 weeks before to do one gig and then to come home and isolate for 2 weeks. So we're waiting to see, but we're very excited at the possibility of coming.
Yeah, there certainly is so much uncertainty right now. I hope the planets will align so you'll be able to get all those gigs and get back on the road. We're going to move on to some other music news making headlines. Unzipped, a massive wandering exhibition dedicated to the Rolling Stones, is setting up in the southern city of Marseille until September. Launched in London in 2016 under the title Exhibitionism, Unzipped has traveled around the world and features items from the band's members' own personal collections, including stage outfits and instruments, 400 rare objects for fans to dive back into the band's over 5-decade reign. And staying in France, live music venues are timidly opening up again after months of lockdown. L'Olympia, the mythical concert hall in the heart of Paris, which has hosted legends like Edith Piaf, Jacques Brel, Nina Simone, has decided to reopen in style after being shut for 6 months. They're going to be hosting a 2-day Un Rock festival. And Skye, if I understand correctly, you guys are supposed to play at the Olympia in March 2020, hopefully, 2022. But hopefully everything will make that show possible. What have you missed the most about performing live during these months of lockdown?
I think getting dressed. I've just I bought like a couple of tracksuits, and I've kind of been wearing tracksuits or pajamas, trainers, so high heels and lashes, and then obviously the buzz of just traveling and leaving the house, going to another country, and then being on stage, and the buzz of the fans singing the song. So everything, just missed it all really. But then on the upside, just getting regular sleep, eating, properly, and spending time with the family. I learnt to play cello through lockdown. I've been doing that for a year now. So yeah, there's always a silver lining, I suppose.
Amazing. That is an amazing silver lining. I can't wait to perhaps hear your cello tracks on the future Morcheeba albums.
Well, I do play a little. When I said to Ross that I'm learning to play cello, he wrote me a part. So there's a song on Blackest Blue called Falling Skies, and I play cello on that, but it's very, very low in the mix. On our Morcheeba Band Instagram page, I made a little post because it was my birthday, and I got the cello on my birthday last year, so I just put a little post of how I'm getting along after playing cello for a year, so you can see it there.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely check that out. We're going to leave you with a little bit of music news that's coming from Maroon 5. They're releasing their 7th studio album. It's called Geordie, in tribute to their late longtime manager, Jordan Feldstein. The collection features a collaboration with Megan Thee Stallion on the track Beautiful Mistakes, and we're going to leave you with that song. But before we go, I want to thank my guest, Skye Edwards. Thank you so much for being with us today. It was a real treat to talk to you. And be sure to check out Morcheeba's 10th studio album. It's called Blackest Blue. For more arts and culture news, head to our website and stay in touch on social media. And stay tuned to France 24. More news is coming up right after this.
Beautiful mistakes.